Guys, today's not just another car review. This is a shift in the EV game. The Suzuki eVitara, a compact electric SUV that's about to make waves worldwide. And the first question, is it coming to the US? I'll be straight. The chances are real, but not walk into a dealership tomorrow real. Here's why. Suzuki's gearing up production in Thailand as the main hub for global markets, with early launches in Europe and parts of Asia first. From there, if demand heats up, the US could be next. It's a classic play. Test the waters where EV infrastructure is ready, then bring it to regions still waiting for chargers like waiting for rain in the desert. But don't switch off just yet. The eVitara isn't built only for Tokyo or Paris boulevards. That LFP battery? Tough, heat-resistant. It practically screams built for real-world conditions. And the ALLGRIP-e AWD? It's not for flexing in downtown Los Angeles. No, it's for weekend getaways through rough trails without turning the family trip into a horror story. Now, let's talk price. The base trim? Expect around $25,000 to $28,000, while the all-wheel drive top trim could cross $32,000. Big question. At that price, will buyers ditch the Hyundai Kona Electric or Chevy Equinox EV for an eVitara? That's exactly why Carcry is here. Not to fantasize, but to break it down. If this thing really hits US soil, is it worth plugging in or just worth watching from a distance? Stick around, because over the next 6 segments, you'll know if it's time to clear space in your garage for a home charger. But before we go deep, hit that subscribe button, because if eVitara lands in the States, Carcry will be the first to grab the keys and tear it apart on camera for you.
All right, talking about the eVitara's design means we've got to do it justice, because this is a glow-up nobody expected from Suzuki. The old gas-powered Vitara, that was the nice little SUV, perfect for running errands, but park it next to a Hyundai Kona or Chevy Trax, and it looked like the quiet kid in class who hasn't figured out how to crack a joke. But the eVitara? Suzuki didn't just swap in a battery, they rewired their whole design language. Dimensions: 168.3 inches long, 70.8 inches wide, 64.3 inches tall, with a 106-inch wheelbase. Translation: smaller than a Toyota RAV4, slightly bigger than a Hyundai Kona. Just the right size to squeeze into city parking, while still big enough to make your neighbor fold his arms and say, "All right, that's actually sharp." Now look at the front. A closed-off EV grille, but none of that useless shiny plastic everywhere. Suzuki kept it clean, but intentional. Those razor-sharp LED DRLs stretch across the face like they're smirking at gas SUVs. I don't emit fumes, I emit confidence. From the side, strong character lines run from nose to tail, making it look more muscular. The thick wheel arch cladding, built to take a hit, not just to look tough. And the optional 19-inch wheels? They're like trading in your regular sneakers for a pair of limited edition Jordans. Same clothes, way more attitude. Around back, split LED taillights connected by a slim chrome bar. I like this because it's modern without going full sci-fi light show. Suzuki stayed grounded enough to not scare off everyday buyers. Step inside and you'll see the real evolution. A 10.25-inch central screen flows into a 10.1-inch digital cluster. Instantly says 2025, not 2010 facelift in disguise. Mixed leather and fabric seats, clean button layout, flat bottom steering wheel. Sure, there's still plastic, but at least Suzuki learned how to color match it so it doesn't scream cheap. One small gripe, the Suzuki badge on the wheel is tiny. Come on, Suzuki, make it bigger. It's not like it's going to drain the battery. Bottom line, the eVitara doesn't try to be a concept car. It's still a practical SUV, but this time it knows how to dress. And honestly, that's the part that surprised me most. Now, you tell me, if you park it next to the Hyundai Kona Electric and Chevy Equinox EV, who wins the style battle? Drop it in the comments, because I need to know if I'm the only one on team muscular but not overcompensating.
All right, now it's time for the real stars of the show, the battery and motors of the eVitara. Because let's be honest, a pretty SUV with a weak battery is just a very expensive way to drive to Starbucks and back. But relax, this time Suzuki isn't playing the EV just for show game. First, the battery options. Standard pack, 49 kilowatt hours, good for about 260 miles of range.
WLTP, expect slightly less on EPA. Long-range pack, 61 kilowatt hours, pushing close to 310 miles if you drive like your grandpa. Steady throttle, no drag races. Both use LFP, lithium iron phosphate chemistry. Translation, this thing is tough. LFP batteries are famous for durability, less degradation, and they handle fast charging without turning into a 2-year-old smartphone. Sure, it's not as energy dense as NMC packs like Tesla or Hyundai, but it's safer and practically bulletproof, perfect for markets where EV charging networks are still growing. Now, the motors. Standard single motor, around 142 to 144 horsepower and 189 to 192 Nm torque. Enough for city bursts without pretending you're in Formula One. All-wheel drive ALLGRIP-e, dual motors, 181 to 184 horsepower, 300 Nm. Here's the fun part. Torque distribution is instant. Front wheels slip, rear motor steps in like your best friend grabbing your arm before you fall. Charging? DC fast charging at up to 100 kilowatts, 20% to 80% in roughly 35 minutes if you find the right charger. Home AC charging at 7.4 kilowatts, plug in overnight, wake up to a full battery. Apartment dwellers with a garage charger, congratulations, you're living the dream. And here's where I've got to poke some fun. Suzuki added a B mode for stronger regen braking. But if you're new to EVs and forget to adjust it, it'll feel like someone's tugging your hoodie from behind. So before flexing your EV lifestyle to your friends, practice that one-pedal driving, unless you want your passengers giving you the side eye. Question for you. Would you pick the single-motor version for efficiency, or go AWD just to flex at cars and coffee? Drop a comment. I'm betting at least 3 of you will pick AWD purely for the look what I can do factor.
Now we're getting to the part gearheads and tech lovers live for, the eVitara's driving tech. Because let's face it, an EV without smart driver assist features is like a smartphone without Wi-Fi. It works, but it feels ancient. This time, Suzuki actually surprised me by loading the eVitara with almost the full ADAS AFE. First up, Level 2 ADAS. Sounds fancy, but here's what it really means. Adaptive cruise control. The car automatically keeps distance and adjusts speed. No, it's not Tesla autopilot, but on a road trip from LA to Vegas, you'll only tap the wheel now and then just to say, hey, I'm still here. Lane departure warning and lane keep assist. Not just a beeping nanny, this thing actually nudges you back in line. Sure, it can't brew you coffee if you doze off, but it'll keep you from hugging a guardrail. Automatic emergency braking, or AEB. Look away for 1 second to admire a billboard, and if the car in front slams the brakes, the eVitara will stomp the pedal for you. Saves you from that publicly embarrassed moment on the freeway. Blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert. Translation, no more panic swerves because a motorcycle or delivery van popped out of nowhere. And yes, it's got a 360-degree camera. And I have to admit, Suzuki's camera no longer looks like it's streaming from a potato, Sir 2006. The image is crisp, wide, and makes parallel parking feel like playing a video game. But let me be honest, these systems shine when the road markings are clear. Drive it somewhere with faded lane paint, like some rural stretches in Texas, and even the eVitara's camera gets confused. Maybe Suzuki should throw in a DIY lane paint kit as an accessory. What do you think? A Suzuki with near full ADAS taking swings at Hyundai, Toyota, and even Honda? Could this be Suzuki's quiet move toward electrifying their whole lineup sooner than we think? Drop your comments. I want to see if Team Suzuki is just basic is ready to switch sides.
Step inside the eVitara's cabin, and I've got to admit, Suzuki actually spent some real money this time. No more clinic waiting room cloth seats. Now we've got leather fabric combos that look modern, wipe clean easily, perfect for business trips or when your kids treat the back seat like a mud wrestling ring. Front and center, dual screens. A 10.1-inch digital cluster and a 10.25-inch infotainment display. And thank you, Suzuki, for keeping it simple. No flashy animations that make you feel like you're launching a space shuttle. Just clear, quick-to-read info. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are on board, plus wireless charging. USB cables, practically fossils now. The climate controls, physical buttons. Bless you, Suzuki, because nothing raises your blood pressure like hunting for the AC down icon on a touchscreen while cruising at 70 miles per hour, only to accidentally change the ambient lighting to neon pink instead. Now, I've got to throw a little jab. There's still hard plastic in here, especially on the door panels and lower dash.
But Suzuki's smart color choices at least keep it from looking like a 2009 taxi flashback. It's not European luxury, but it's honest. Audio system, standard speakers, good enough for podcasts and daily drives. No earth-shaking JBL subwoofers, but hey, it'll do the job while you binge Carcry on your commute. One underrated win, the center armrest. Solid, sturdy, doesn't wobble like a cheap IKEA table. And if you spring for the top trim, panoramic sunroof. Not a tiny peeking window, but a proper slab of glass that makes you feel like you've just borrowed Elon's sky view. Now tell me honestly, at this price, is the eVitara's interior good enough? Or are you still waiting for Suzuki to sprinkle in some CEO wood trim vibes? Drop your comments because you know Carcry is always ready to roast or cheer where it's due.
All right, enough theory. Time for the part you've all been waiting for. How the eVitara actually drives. Because let's be honest, if an electric SUV doesn't make you want to drive it, it's basically a $40,000 phone charger on wheels. First up, city driving. In normal mode, the eVitara is so smooth it's almost creepy. No engine noise, just the hum of the tires and the whisper of the AC. If you're coming from a gas car, it feels weird at first, but 5 minutes in, you're hooked. It's like skating on fresh ice. But don't let that calm fool you. Flip it into sport mode, especially the AWD ALLGRIP-e version. And those dual motors, 300 Newton meters of instant torque, launch you forward like Suzuki accidentally installed a rocket booster under the floor. Not track car fast, but highway merges, passing semis on I-95, child's play. Out on the open road is where the eVitara really shines. With a 2,700mm wheelbase, it stays planted at 65 to 70 miles per hour. No bouncy city car nonsense here. The EV1 tuned suspension nails the sweet spot. Firm enough for cornering, soft enough that your mother-in-law won't complain that this car rides like a brick. And here's the bonus, light off-road. With snow and gravel modes, I pointed the AWD eVitara down a muddy trail after a rainstorm, and guess what? No wheel spin panic. The rear motor kicks in instantly, pulling you through muck like it's saying, relax, I've got this. Now, a little jab. Yes, the LFP battery is tough as nails, but climb a long hill and you'll feel the power dip slightly. Not scary, just dignified. Like it's sipping espresso instead of chugging Red Bull. Quick poll. Should Carcry take this thing through a 12-inch water crossing for science? Smash the comments, 500 likes, and I'm grabbing my GoPro and a pair of shorts.
Now, the big question, is the Suzuki eVitara actually worth buying if you're in a market where it's about to launch? First, credit where it's due. Global design. The eVitara keeps that classic SUV DNA, but adapts it smartly. Subtle enough for Europe, practical for the US, and not overstyled like some futuristic concepts. 61 kilowatt-hour LFP battery up to 500 kilometers WLTP, around 310 miles. That's a realistic number, not the usual brochure fantasy. All-drive ALLGRIP-e. Dual motor setup handles slippery roads and rough weather like a champ. Crucial for snowy states like Colorado or mountainous areas like the Rockies. Full ADAS suite. Auto emergency braking, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise, the works. For Suzuki, this is a serious leap forward. But let's stay honest about what to watch out for. Price. In Europe, top trims land around 28,000 to 32,000 euros. In the US, if it lands near 30K, it'll be fighting the Hyundai Kona Electric and the Chevy Bolt EUV head-on. Fast charging speed. 100 kilowatts is fine for daily life, but if you're used to 150 to 200 kilowatts on Korean or Chinese EVs, this might feel a bit underwhelming. Interior materials. Yes, they've improved, but Suzuki still values durability over luxury. If you're expecting premium, this ain't it. Bottom line, the eVitara is not a flashy image car. It's the pragmatic EV SUV. Durable battery, solid tech, fair pricing. If you live in the US or Europe and need a dependable EV for real-world use, it's worth a serious look. Now, your turn. Are you day one pre-order team or wait for a facelift with more toys team? Drop a comment and don't forget to subscribe to Carcry because the second this thing lands in the US, we're putting it through the ultimate no mercy test drive.